Welcome to another edition of Fortinet Live. I'm Peter Newton, and today I'm joined by John Minasyan, who's the GM over at Linksys for their business products. And we're here to talk today a little bit about an exciting product, I think, our partnership that is the Linksys HomeWRK for Business. It's our solution for the new era of work from home. As many of you know, coming out of the COVID shutdown, a lot of businesses are looking at how they can better support this new work environment where employees are working more remotely. But that has certainly created some challenges for businesses. As always, the home environment is one that is not well protected. It's not well secured. It's not controlled. And so really organizations are struggling with the fact that they've got now lots of employees, maybe most of their employees, who are working in these fundamentally unsecure, unprotected, uncontrolled environments. So to address that, Linksys and Fortinet partnered up to create a new product. And I'm going to ask John. John, I'm excited about the opportunity here. Certainly there's a need for this type of product, but can you kind of give those who are not familiar with it kind of an overview of what this partnership has created, what we're doing with the HomeWRK for Business product?
Absolutely, Peter, and thank you for having me on the podcast. I'm excited to be part of this effort to roll this out as well. The Fortinet and Linksys partnership is a little unique in that I believe we're sort of marrying the best of the enterprise class environment that Fortinet brings to the table, along with a very consumer DNA that Linksys has. And so what we've created is sort of the capability in my mind to extend the security boundary of the enterprise to each employee's home, but do so in a way that does not disrupt the employee's home life. It does not require the IT administration to support hundreds and hundreds of new use cases that were not there before or people were not staffed up for before. And it really provides that home employee with the essential tools they need to very securely connect to their organization, be productive when they're working from home. And again, I want to stress, do so in a very, very non-disruptive manner to how they use their Wi-Fi in the home today. So we're thrilled with it as well too.
I say also though, for the corporate side, we're enabling organizations to really extend their policies and protections out to this new environment. Because if you think about a work from home environment, really what's happening is the corporate environment is being extended out to all of these homes. And, the ability to then with this solution, extend that protection, extend that visibility, extend that control, I think it's a pretty amazing feat of engineering and partnership that we've been able to bring this to fruition. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the details of the product? I think you've got one sitting right behind you there over your shoulder.
Yeah, I do. It's actually how I'm connected to this podcast as well. So I think you hit it on the head, Peter. What we've done is we've essentially integrated the Fortinet next-gen firewall into the little Linksys mesh router that you see behind me. What that does is, if you think about it conceptually, is it extends the boundary of the corporate IT infrastructure all the way down to my home. Right, I am right now connected to the Linksys corporate SSID through a Linksys issued laptop, and I'm speaking to you as no different than if I were sitting in the office and connecting to this podcast from the office. The IT department has full control over the security policies. As they update the policies, these routers automatically receive them. If I need to connect through the VPN to access systems and assets behind the firewall, This actually has a IPsec VPN built into it that terminates directly to a FortiGate appliance that we have in the office. And to me, it is absolutely seamless. I have no difference, or I feel no difference, whether I'm working from my home office, sitting in my desk, or connecting from my office in the office building. I have exactly the same policies that I have to abide by. I have exactly the same permissions and access control lists that I have to abide by. And I can get a lot more work done without a whole bunch of technical obstacles to jump through. So it is a very, very cool appliance that we've created here.
And from the IT standpoint, they can view that portion of your home network as their network. They have visibility, they have control, they can see what's going on, right?
Absolutely. And that's a really, really critical point. One of the things that we really strove to do and make sure that we did it right was to create that boundary between home life and work life. And never the two shall meet, right? There's a very hard segmentation between the home network that the employee sets up and uses for gaming, browsing, FaceTime with family members, whatever have you, and the corporate side. IT has purview and control and visibility over the corporate network that the router broadcasts, but they have absolutely no visibility into what the employee does from home. That's a on purpose, engineered specifically to make sure that we protected that employee's privacy, to make sure that that employee has no qualms about allowing that device to operate inside their home on their home network.
Now, can you talk a little bit about, certainly there's the advantages of the privacy between having those two networks that are, completely separated. Can you talk a little bit about the productivity opportunities and abilities that enables?
Absolutely. So we actually went out and had this evaluated by Zoom for video conferencing applications. Zoom's feedback was this was probably the best router they've ever evaluated for their application. We do have quality of service enhancements built into the firmware in the router, Peter, to allow Zoom, Teams, any other sort of video conferencing platform to be prioritized. Just because we sort of believe that from a work from home environment, that becomes a critical tool for you to use over and over and over again. So we want to make sure that the video is fluid, the audio is clear and fluid. And regardless if your child is in the back room playing Xbox while you're on a conference call with your manager, that your conference call actually has the bandwidth and the processing power to go through uninterrupted.
That's a huge thing, because if you think about, the main issues around the whole home working environment is, one, the security, because you don't know what type of retail products are there and what avenues that's opening up for hackers. But two, there's also the productivity and the congestion of how do you deal with an uncontrolled environment and many other people that might be on that network. But this is addressing both of those.
No, absolutely correct. And I should also mention that this is a Wi-Fi 6 mesh node. And so not only do you get the benefits of additional channels and additional capacity to support IoT devices and a whole host of other users with Wi-Fi 6, but you also have the ability to add as many nodes as you want to make sure that you've got sort of that envelope of Wi-Fi signal all over your home. Again, regardless of what location the home your office might be in, what location your child might be using to study remotely or play video games remotely. All of that is built into this, engineered for optimal performance, and whatever the bandwidth is that you're getting from your ISP, you should be able to go take full advantage of that as you permeate Wi-Fi inside your entire home.
And that actually kind of brings up another topic of this solution, the whole idea of how do you ensure that good customer experience, that good user experience for the family. A lot of IT organizations are worried about, hey, I don't want to get in the business of being IT support for all my, networks, all my employees' home networks. I don't want to be answering the phone. I don't want to have to drive out to everybody's, home to install these things. Can you talk about, how this solution addresses that?
Yeah, you bring up a really, really good point. When we designed HomeWRK, we said it needs to be secure. It needs to be super easy to deploy. We said it has to be, again, non-disruptive to the employee's home environment. And more importantly, it cannot be a additional additional burden to the IT department. So from a software perspective, provisioning perspective, we've got everything built in to alleviate that IT department from having to worry about this really at all, right? Other than creating the security policies, making sure that those get pushed down, making sure that your Radius server, your other IT assets and security assets on the back end all function correctly. Linksys takes care of just about everything else that is required. If IT says, I want to have 100 seats, all you have to do is upload the addresses for those employees to Linksys. Linksys will actually ship units from our warehouse directly to the employee's home. So you don't even have to worry about inventory management, as an example. What's more, Linksys is a consumer organization, and so we do have the infrastructure, the know-how, the customer support capabilities and scale to deal with these employees calling in and asking, why does the Xbox not work, for example, or the LED light on top of the router is not the proper color. What do I do? We do have the support capability and the support infrastructure to take those calls. So again, IT is not being inundated with a whole bunch more support burden than what it might be staffed to handle. And I think that's a really, really critical component of the entirety of the solution that we're delivering.
But also even in the setup, I've set up one myself. You mentioned you're running on Linksys. I've got a Linksys HomeWRK, here at my home as well. But even just setting it up is also really easy to do. It doesn't require a partner visit or an IT to go out and visit someone's home. As you said, you can just get the unit in the mail and plug it in, and it's a really simple, straightforward setup. I think it really speaks to how Linksys, with its decades of experience in enabling just about anyone to set up a home network, is really extending that experience into this solution, enabling any employee to be able to set up a Linksys HomeWRK for Business solution for their home.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. Assuming that the broadband and everything else is set up correctly, we gave our engineering team an objective of out-of-box, powered on, set up and connected to the corporate network should not take more than 90 seconds. And I think we've hit that. But to your point, Linksys, again, being in the consumer space for 30 some odd years, we know that out-of-box experience, the customer setup experience, is an absolute, must-have. And if there's any complication, if there's any doubt or a step that forces someone to scratch their head and kind of give up, consumers will give up. And we designed this thing specifically to make sure that you did not need to have any network expertise, any technical know-how to be able to unbox the unit and get it operational. In fact, give you a point of reference, the entire quick start guide is a QR code that you just need to scan with your phone. There's no other documentation that ships with the unit.
And having experience with it myself, I can definitely say that it is very easy to set up. I would trust anyone in my family and anyone in my company to use it. So I'm sure anyone at Fortinet, even the receptionist, who might not be technical, can certainly plug in a cable into one of these units and get up and running on their home network. And I think this is really an important time in the whole work life shift that's been going on, because we've seen surveys about how more and more employees are looking for the ability to work from home. They're interested in accepting jobs that either allow full-time remote work as they look for business opportunities outside of their own specific geographic area. But even when they do have a job that does have a local office, they want to be able to work from home on a regular and ongoing basis. So I think the opportunity here is significant, simply because in addition to employees wanting to work from home, we've also seen an uptick in the amount of attacks on that home network. As Fortinet, we have our FortiGuard Labs threat service, where we're constantly tracking threats and hacks and bad actor activity. And we saw a significant increase in the number of home network focused attacks as a result of the pandemic and as a result of so many people working from home. As people continue to work from home, it's just imperative that organizations figure out how they're able to extend the same level of enterprise security that they have at their corporate offices out to their home offices. And the fact that this HomeWRK for Business solution is running a containerized version of FortiOS, it's getting the full FortiGuard threat feed services, so it can provide those protections, not just to the corporate side of that home network, but the employee has the option of turning those protections on for their side of the network as well. So, as we see more people wanting to work from home and more bad actors going after that home network, I think, being able to extend that corporate security, that enterprise security out to the home network just makes all the sense in the world and is the absolute best logical step forward in this new world. Now, that said, one question could be, is this a solution that's really just for big enterprise companies that are looking to protect those employees working from home, or is this where does the size of a company affect the effectiveness, or does this solution make sense for everyone?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. So we talked about how on the end user side, the end employee side, the user interface, the setup process is super easy. Anyone can do that. We talked about how Linksys's post-sales support organization is available. We don't really charge a fee for the support. It's all included in the price of the product. So realistically, from a IT organization perspective, this certainly has the DNA to work in an enterprise class environment. The FortiOS that's integrated into the router is a enterprise class product that requires a little bit of technical know-how and expertise. But integrated into the Linksys router sort of eliminates a lot of the complexity, or at least hides a lot of the complexity. What's also important to note here, Peter, is the entire solution is provisioned, monitored, managed through a very, very intuitive cloud user interface. And the cloud user interface is designed so that it can either be managed and operated by an IT organization that wants to have control over their domain, or it can be managed by an MSSP that is contracted out with a number of SMB organizations to run and manage their networks and their security footprint. So realistically, there is no provision here that says this has to be an enterprise class environment. You have to have specialized certification or training. It is designed and it is engineered specifically to allow anyone, whether it's a MSSP managing multiple tenants simultaneously, or an individual organization that wants to have complete control and visibility over everything going on their domain. The solution is very efficiently scalable from a very, very small group or organization to one that has thousands and hopefully tens of thousands of seats running on this technology.
Yeah, you bring up a good point that, this solution, because it's scalable to all different size, is actually not just something that's going to be sold to an IT organization through a corporation, but that partners can play an important role in bringing their customers or bringing the solution to their customers. Do you have any comments or thoughts on the roles and benefits that partners can play in this role?
No, absolutely. And in fact, we do want partners to be participating in this and taking advantage of it. The way the cloud environment, again, is structured is it does allow for multi-tenancy. So a partner who wants to act as an MSSP can very simply create their own domain and then have individual networks for each of their contracted clients underneath that domain. And the partner has admin level privileges and visibility into everything. The partner can then designate individuals at each of their client organizations who want to have managerial or limited control and visibility into just the network components for that individual organization. So it's incredibly flexible. It can scale again from very, very small to very large. It can also scale horizontally, if you will, in allowing an MSSP to have multiple concurrent contracts under their purview.
Well, John, this has been a great talking with you. As I said, I'm excited about the opportunity here for this. I believe work from home is kind of the new frontier of where we're extending security. And right now, the Linksys HomeWRK for Business solution is literally the only solution that I see on the market that really can deliver both the protection and productivity that organizations need as they're enabling their employees to work from a home environment. So I want to thank you very much for joining me today. For any of you watching, if you're looking for more information, we certainly have a lot of information available on our website at Fortinet.com around this solution. But partners, we also have a variety of information on the partner portal. So we have some specific stuff that can help you understand and then, of course, sell this solution to your customers. So thank you very much for joining us. This has always been an interesting conversation. Always good to talk with you, John. And thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone.